You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your muted host for a moment there. This is Locked On West Virginia. Guys, like I said in the opening, is the Neal Brown era still impacting West Virginia from a viewership standpoint? We're going to talk about that. BYU possibly surging up the TV rankings. We're going to talk about that as well as the rest of the Big 12 and the TV viewership in the conference, because we all know the health of the viewership in the conference matters, and we need it to be good. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our good friends, of course, and always over at Mazda. With Mazda, it's pretty simple. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward with Mazda. Move and be moved. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Okay, guys. So the midseason TV rankings are out. I guess viewership rankings, whatever you want to say. Maybe rankings is a bad way to say it. But the TV viewership has been released for the first 6 games of the year, 5-6 games of the year for some teams. And so we're going to go over this and kind of talk about my thoughts on it, because I have several, especially when it comes to West Virginia and BYU right now, considering I've been looking a lot more into BYU, and I had some thoughts on it. And I got to meet the people at BYU TV, and I learned some things when I was there about them and their relationship with ESPN and all that. So we'll talk about that too. But all right, so West Virginia first. So West Virginia channel, we got to start with West Virginia first. As far as the Mountaineers go, you know, I don't know what to make of this, because I feel like our overall we have a strong, passionate fan base. If you look at the numbers, we scored 0.00 versus Robert Morris, 0.20 for Ohio, which is, I think, 200,000 people. For Pitt, that was a 1.7, which is 1.7 million people. For Kansas, we had 700,000 people. For Utah, 1.44 million people, so 1,400,000, 40,000 people, not really sure. And then BYU was a 1.3 million rated on ESPN on the Friday night. So and keep in mind, the Ohio game was also kind of a weird one, obviously on the road at Ohio, and a weird. Anyways, so looking at this, it averages out to right around 9 million viewers. 900,000 viewers. Yeah, 900,000. So obviously not where we want to be as a program. And, if you look back at some of our viewership earlier, even when we first got into the Big 12, it was higher than this. And I think there's a few reasons for that. But over the last probably 6 years or so, it's been about this. So why is that? Well, obviously, Neal Brown plays a huge factor into this. It's no secret. So I've got some thoughts as to why West Virginia, and it's not Neal Brown's fault necessarily. It's the impact of his tenure, right? So these are modest numbers. These are not incredible, not even top 10 in the Big 12. So through 5 games, our viewership sits at right around 900,000, a total of 4.05 million views. So we're still shaking off that inconsistency from under Neal Brown. And I think the era and that shadow is going to linger in some fan apathy, coupled with the program being bad this year. The 6-year stretch under Neal Brown was a 37-35 record, right? So 1 national poll appearance. Guys, there's no way that you're going to be relevant when you have 1 poll appearance over the span of almost a decade now. It's getting to the point to where I'm scared for our future. I really am. Even though we've got all these great things happening in NIL and Rim Baker's getting us all these, these monies together, there's apprehension here for me. There just is. So obviously the Rich Rod return has sparked optimism. Had it not been him, we would have probably dropped even more, right? Obviously viewership's not surging, or we would have more than 700,000 people watching us versus Kansas. That's just the way it is. Obviously, the game versus Utah was good. The game versus BYU is good. You'll take those numbers, especially in the Big 12. So we can draw. It's not that we can't draw. It's my point is that we're limited because of the last 6 or 7 years. We're not drawing as well as we could. We should be in the top 5 of the Big 12, but we're not because we can't win at that level. It's frustrating. It's not fair, man. It just sucks. But the path forward is tied to rivalries. We see this, right? The Utah game had a lot of buildup. The BYU game had some buildup. Anytime you pair West Virginia with another brand, it does really well for a reason, because 2 brands now are coming together that have, really high ceilings. So, especially with the BYU, I think that's obviously a potential really great rivalry, friendly rivalry in the making if we did it. But for the most part, we need some natural rivals like Pitt and company to come back into the fold at some point. That's going to keep this conference alive. We just don't have enough rivalries in this conference, in my opinion. Let's look at the BYU viewership rankings as well. And the Utes are playing really good football right now. We know that. And the viewership pretty well reflects that. Obviously, the home game versus Auburn, 2.8. That's not Auburn. I'm looking at Baylor. Sorry. Southern Utah, no, they got a 0, obviously, on ESPN Plus. That's going to be a 0, although probably the entire city of Provo, at least 80,000 people watched it, I'm sure. Stanford was a 1,009,000 viewership game, or 90, I'm not really sure. Sam Houston was a 0. East Carolina was a 0.55. But then you've got Colorado, which is big number, 2.28. And then West Virginia, 1.32. Over Kalani Sitake's tenure, BYU has hovered right around the million viewership range. So I think this is a situation where the Utes. God, you guys will kill me for saying that, won't you? I'm a little bit taken aback by my cat here trying to jump up here. I'm trying to keep her from getting up here. So so these are my thoughts on the BYU situation. The slight edge in averages is signaling a steady appeal, right? BYU edges West Virginia with a 0.87 million average, 5.24 million total through 6 games. Obviously the peak versus Colorado is a big deal, 2.28 million. That's pretty good drawing power, obviously, in that game, and that's 2 brands coming together again, as we talked about. Big 12 membership unlocks revenue and visibility boosts, obviously, now in year 3 of full Big 12 revenue shares, which started in July. BYU is capitalizing on non-conference perks like prime scheduling, midseason TV metrics, which places them second among Big 12 regional schools at 4.29 million cumulative views. So that's pretty good, right? Clearly, they're benefiting from the power conference uptick in exposure is what this means. Obviously, the rivalry games, and we have yet to see the Utah game, which is going to be massive. But the road game versus West Virginia obviously shows they've got some ability to pull numbers with West Virginia's road game versus them. I mean, and then obviously the non-conference games. What can you say about that, right? I mean, everybody has them. They're always going to be bad. But if you look at college football ratings climbing nationwide, especially with BYU, there's just such a big base for them, obviously, with the church and everything. So there's a lot to look through here. obviously they're going to play games because of how games are scheduled in the Big 12. You just have to realize their game's going to be at night, right? They're going to be later than most people. That's just the way it is. So, and like when the game against West Virginia, unfortunately, it's just going to be a situation where um, they're going to be playing later than most other teams. So you've kind of got that after dark effect added onto it. What can but there's really not a lot you can do about it. And they still draw in spite of that. So I think this is one of those situations, man, where, obviously you would like to be scheduled earlier if you could be, but I don't know that that's good for everybody else. But when I was at BYU TV, I learned a lot. I learned that ESPN uses their facility a lot to broadcast games, and there's just this great relationship between them. So I think that's interesting because it means that there's BYU, they kind of owe BYU one, right? So there's something there to that. I think they've absolutely got the potential to be one of the 2 or 3 biggest drawers in the conference going forward, and we need them to be. We need them to be in a good spot, just like we need West Virginia to be in a good spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how this keeps going for both teams. But I think for me, I'm not happy about West Virginia is. Generally, I think BYU's in a good place, but I think that they can go higher. Obviously, if you look at the trip, like you see in the top half, in the first half of the season, you've got teams like Kansas State and Iowa State up at the top. Well, that's only because the overseas trip, the week 0 game. So there are like extenuating factors that make teams have better spots or rankings than others. Let's see where it shakes up after the next couple of years, because that's going to tell the real tale whenever things really shake up again. The teams that are drawing big are going to be some of the first teams that are looked at if there's a big shakeup down the line. So we'll see what that looks like. But right now, BYU in a good position. West Virginia, quite frankly, is not in a good position. Although 900,000 is considered a solid number, it's certainly not good, and it certainly could be better. We need it to be better. Let's go to break. West Virginia basketball is absolutely crushing it right now, and I think I know why. They've got a bit of a secret weapon in Yusuf Ali, and he is, and not just him, but Coach Hodge are going after 5-star after 4-star after 5-star. Could West Virginia be on the rise for real in basketball? I think so. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our good friends, of course, and always over at DoorDash. And look, with DoorDash, it's pretty simple. It's almost time. It's almost the weekend. It's got to look back at this week's MVP, who delivered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Obviously, this past week, I think you have to give Khalil Wilkins the nod, who delivered in a big way. Really big fourth quarter, the week before. So what did he do this week? Well, obviously killing it, right? I mean, 23 carries was big. I think he showed a lot of guts in the game. So it's a breakout performance for him on the ground. When the pressure came through, he was there, no hesitation, no delay. So can he go on a streak? I think he can if he continues to start. And just like he delivered for West Virginia, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save on every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including 100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day with only DoorDash. Terms apply, promo code through 11/18. And, of course, our friends at FanDuel say hello, and why not? Because the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That'll make you holler and get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across that app, like I just said. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day so much better, and that experience is what you want. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. in segment 2, there's no dew. Unfortunately, I'm not able to drink that anymore, and I'm trying to make a commitment to my health, guys. So, although I'm out of water, we're drinking water. So, it is what it is, right? I know you guys want. I'm thinking about potentially. I'll figure out a way to, because I think what I'm going to do going forward is I'm just going to fill up the dew bottle with something else, and then just drink it, and just not even mention it, because that way we don't have to go over this. All right, so West Virginia basketball, another player they're going after right now, which I really like, Noah George, Yusuf Ali, the West Virginia basketball coach who Ross Hodge just hired, by the way. I mean, he's not even a month in. Think there's a reason for that? I think there's a reason for that. So, obviously he is doing big things, and going after Noah George is one of those things who just got done with a Georgia Tech visit, and other big time programs have offered him in recent days. He's out of Bella Vista. It's another one of those players he probably coached at a certain point in time whenever he was in AAU. So let's watch a little bit of this kid's game, and I'll try to describe to you what it is he does well. So first thoughts on him is he's got a really high shot. So it's up over the head sometimes like this, which is okay as long as you can make the shot. But you'll notice on his jump shot, that's what it looks like. And then probably you'll see here. It's not as egregious as maybe I made it look, but it's a beautiful look. He's a terrific athlete as well. As we'll see on some of these, he can really get up when he wants to dunk. So it's not showing it as much on this video. I'll show you another one where you kind of see that shot release, but he's spraying it from all over the court on this one. But here's where I like him in the open floor, getting to the rack. I mean, that's where we really like this kid. He's a great athlete, got great hands, as you can see there, and really just makes plays for people. And I really like the direction that this program is going, especially when it's talking about guards. They're going after really big-time scoring guards. And you got to have guards that can score it. You got to have guards that can get to the rack, and you got to have guards that can shoot it and facilitate it. And there's no reason that West Virginia can't have those kind of players. We just haven't gone after them consistently over the last few seasons, and that's okay. I get it. I'm just saying, maybe we can start going after some higher end guys. It's proven to be okay. Here's some video of him where you get to see a little bit better from a different angle, that jump shot that I'm talking about. Here's a nice dunk off 2 feet, right in somebody's mouth. You always like to see that. So there's that high jump shot I'm talking about. You can see it from this angle now. As you can see, it's way above the head, right? Where it starts. And that's great because it gives you, a little bit of extra added space or whatever. And there you can see it is again. And I mean, when he pulls up regularly, like in the pocket, wherever somebody kicks it out to him or something, it seems like his jumper changes a little, but like whenever he's dribbling, as you can see, I mean, that thing's right over the top of his head. So it's just an interesting looking shot. You don't see a lot of dudes that do that. It doesn't mean it's not a good shot. It's just the way he's shooting in this game. I like it. I think it's fine. But yeah, this kid can play. He's got a tough-nosed, hard-edged kind of deal going on. I haven't broken him down totally, so I don't have the hard edge or hard nose meter for you. But I mean, as you can see, he's skilled. He's got some talent. He's kind of coming on at the very end here with Georgia Tech and some others coming after him. But I mean, as you can see, that is buttery smooth at the mid range, and that's the lost art in today's day and age. A lot of guys are taking one step to the right and pulling that three right here. This guy penetrates deep into the elbow. Boom. and pulls up when he's got some space. And as you can see, that high arcing, the way he holds the ball is giving him a little bit of an added. Well, let's say if that was in front of his face, right? Now look how much closer the hand is to the ball. So it is giving him extra space. And at 6'2", that's going to help a lot. I think it says 6'2". I'll have to go back and check. Now, as you can see there on that play, he didn't pull it from the same place. Here it's there, right? So it really does depend on what's going on. It looks like off the dribble, and when he's penetrating or something, or somebody's in his face, he kind of adjusts the ball and shoots from different pockets. It's kind of interesting, right? So this is yet another player, and this isn't including a list and bevy of other players that the Mountaineers are going after. You've got obviously already gotten Amir Jenkins, but if you want to go over the list of players that I've been able to found that they've contacted here lately, it's an extensive list of 4- and 5-star players. Darren Peterson, right? 6'5" from Prolific Prep, 5-star, number 2 national overall player, has been contacted by West Virginia. If you look at CJ Ingram, 6'5", 195, Montverde Academy, 5-star, number 23 overall player in the country. Florida State Pledge, West Virginia is pushing hard, according to my sources. Jasper Johnson, 6'4", overtime elite, 5-star, offered obviously by West Virginia, but he's a Kentucky lean. But, at the end of the day, I've heard West Virginia has made tried to reach out. They're just trying. That's all I'm saying here. I'm not saying we got a chance at any of these guys. Could West Virginia get a Kyan Anthony even, who the son of Carmelo Anthony? Well, I'm told that they've reached out. We'll see if they get him. I doubt it. Highly doubt it, unless you want to pay. Obviously, Sebastian Wilkins from Brewster Academy is a 4-star, number 60 overall player, stretch 4 with really great shooting range. Had a recent unofficial visit to Morgantown. What about Mikey Wilkins, twin brother of Sebastian? Obviously, both of these guys are on a package deal from what I'm told. Kareem Stack, right? IMG Academy, 4-star, number 73 player in the country, offensive rebounder, defensive rebounder. West Virginia hosted him for a workout in late September. Braden Hawthorne, Huntington Prep, we know about him. In-state star, local product, but unfortunately, we lost him to Kentucky, but they reached out. They tried with him. There's Derek Dixon. There's Jaden Forsyth, who we got to flip from Xavier, obviously. Derek Dixon, who is from Gonzaga High School. Well, West Virginia offered this kid and it has an unofficial visit for October 18th. Derek Dixon. So 4-star, number 43 overall player. Miles Sadler, 6'2" out of Roman Catholic BA, 5-star, number 23 overall player. Offered him September, official visit for October 24th. The national 3 number point guard. Alio Dium, right? 6'10", 200 pounds, Bella Vista Prep, 4-star, number 80 national, top 100 big, soft touch, great around the rim, incredible defender, committed to West Virginia. Joshua Tyson, Combine Academy, 4-star, number 62 overall player, unofficial visit for October 4th. Great scorer, great length, rising really fast. West Virginia's in his top 8. Cam Williams, 5-star, number 7 overall, elite forward, guys, leaning Arizona, but West Virginia's got an early offer out to him. Anthony Thompson, 6'7", 5-star, number 6 overall, in-state monster, obviously, out of Ohio, where I live. But West Virginia's pushing him, man. What about Baba Alaton? Sorry, his last name's hard to say. He's out of James Hubert Blake in Maryland, 5-star, number 10 overall. And he's got a top 10 list, which includes West Virginia on it. Caden Samuels, Bishop McNamara, one of the elite high schools in Maryland, 4-star, number 20 national, explosive wing. West Virginia hosted him in the camp in August. Kingston Whitty just committed to West Virginia out of Holy Innocents Episcopal, 4-star, top 200 player, top 10 point guard, quick, crafty lead guard. Caden Allen, 6'4", 4-star, number 55 nationally, sharpshooter. Unofficial visit for November. East Coast is a priority for him, he says. And then Arafan Diane, 6'11", Iowa United prep, 4-star, number 19 national, mobile, big. Top 5 includes West Virginia after a recent call with Ross Hodge. Do you guys see it? This is amazing what they're doing right now. Ross Hodge and company are going to make this program great again, and I'll be here. I can't wait to see it. Let's talk a little bit more after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Mazda. With Mazda, it's a pretty simple thing. As Mazda keeps driving the game forward, those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, culture, and the game forward. Obviously, this week's moment to move the game forward is Ren Baker. I think everything he did this week was totally on point, saving the $5 million, everything, the whole nine, so big for our future. And just like Ren Baker, when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Do it today with Mazda. Move and be moved. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in on this one. So a couple other thoughts I wanted to get past you guys that I haven't had a chance to talk about since, when was it? Yesterday, I think it was. This year's West Virginia basketball team, I got some feedback on it that was a little bit frustrating yesterday, and I just wanted to address. So, I said I think this team is going to be good, and I do believe that, right? I do believe that. So, let's see what happens with it, right? Because is there a way that this team makes the tournament? I think there is, right? I think there is. I think there absolutely is. I think they've got a good team, but is this team an elite team that's going to compete for Big 12 titles? No, not saying that at all. At least I don't think so. Now they could. I mean, it's not impossible. Nothing is. But I just want to say, like, this team is super impressive. Super impressive. I love the bench, honestly. Like, if you look at this team as a whole, so let me type it out. Let's see. If I had to do, let me do something really quick here. Okay. Post up there. All right. So when it comes to this year's basketball team, obviously there are a few guys that are going to be the guys, right? There's just no way around that. So this team's going to revolve around, I think, the scoring punch that Trey Eaglestaff and Honor Huff give you. But how do you work that, right? Like, how do you make sure that you're playing from inside out? How do you make sure that you're getting them open shots and they're not being keyed upon and those type of things? And I think there's a few ways, but I think the biggest thing that I've seen so far this offseason that gives me hope for that has got to be, just my personal opinion, Harlan Obioha. He's gone from 7 feet, 280 pounds down to 200. What'd they say? He's lost 60 pounds, so he's at 220. So he's gone from 7 feet 280 to 7 feet 220. If you were bringing him off the bench, I would say 7 feet 260 or something would be great. But 280 is too much for a guy that's going to be playing like that pace. But, like, my starting five, as I've told you guys before, Brendan Lorient, Jasper Floyd, Honor Huff, Trey Eaglestaff, and Harlan Obioha, right? So that's the one is going to be Jasper Floyd. So the 2 is Honor Huff. The 3, Trey Eaglestaff. The 4, Brennan Laurent. And the 5 is Harlan Obi-Oha. So if you want to craft a good bench for that group, I think the backup to Jasper Floyd is probably going to be Amir Jenkins, if I had to guess. I think he's a great option for the second point guard. And I think much like last year, I think he's going, we had a couple freshmen really, really developed last year that were really good. I think we've got a chance for 2 that Ross Hodges specifically pointed out that are going to be really good this year as well. Amir Jenkins is that guy, 6'2", 170-pound freshman, 4-star from Worcester Academy. I am a big believer in this kid. And, am I saying he's going to be an elite player in year 1? No, I'm not saying that. But I think he's absolutely going to be a great backup point guard. And then at the 2 spot, you've got Honor Huff, who's led the, elite shooter, led the nation in threes last year. Morris Agusic, the South Carolina transfer, junior, is a versatile combo guard off the bench who averaged right around 6 points a game and 40% from 3 last year at South Carolina. So you can slide him, down to shooting guard, even small forward if you had to. So, and then a Jaden Forsyth behind him. Trey Eaglestaff, obviously 18.9 points per game last year at North Dakota as an elite scorer, proven wing. But what about Chance Moore backing him up, a 5th-year guard forward combo who 6.5 rebounds per game, guys, at St. Bonaventure and 13 points per game. You're not losing much scoring punch with him off the floor. At the 4 spot, you've got Brennan Laurent, obviously a first-team All-League player last year at North Dakota State, or North Dakota State, but North Texas. And obviously he was on the Final Four team. And then Jackson Fields, a really starting caliber depth piece that averaged 8 points a game, 5 rebounds a game last year at Troy, and a great rebounder with NCAA experience on a team at Troy that went to the NCAA tournament. He was a starter, and you've got him coming off the bench. That's pretty good. Obviously, Harlan Obi-Oha is your starting center and rim protector, and you need him to play 20 minutes a game, right? At least 20 minutes a game, maybe 23, 24 if you're really lucky. And that's where it gets a little dicey. Obviously, I think you're going to have to shift a little when you go away from this. One more really great big in this team would have been set as a 2 deep. But Abraham Oyedir, he's got the body. He's a redshirt freshman that's really raw. We don't know exactly what he's going to be yet. We haven't decided if he's bad or good yet. That's just the truth. We just don't know. He didn't play last year, but I think that was because he was really raw. He's got athletic ability and all that. So I do think he's got potential to be okay, but we really haven't figured that out yet. And then, you've got guys like DJ Thomas and Evans Barning Jr., but specifically DJ Thomas. I think what you'll do is when you're resting a guy like Obi-Oha, you're going to take Brennan Laurent and move him down to the 5 most likely, and you're going to have to play DJ Thomas at the 4, which is fine. You're just going to play a little bit smaller ball. And he's a freshman, so we don't know how he's going to respond. But I do think it's possible for this team to be good, and small ball is okay if you're playing it a few minutes a game. Other than that, this is a huge lineup. I don't think people realize. Let's go over the height and weight for this lineup if we do the starting 5 the way I just did it. Okay, so at the guard spot, you got 6'3", 190, Jasper Floyd. That's a pretty good size starting guard, right? No doubt about it. Brennan Laurent, forward, 6'9", 215. You'll take that, won't you? Or Harlan Obi-Oha, 7 foot, 220, 230. You'll take that, won't you? Trey Eaglestaff, 6'6", 190. You'll take that, won't you? And then obviously you got Honor Huff, who, yes, is 5'10", 170, 175. He is the one lone small player on the floor, but you can absolutely, be fine with just one smaller player like that. You're fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, you can play great team defense that way, especially a guy like him who gets in passing lanes. So I don't buy the narrative that this team is small at all. As a matter of fact, you bring in a guy, and that's not even counting Chance Moore, who you can bring in, who's just an elite rebounder that averaged 7 rebounds a game last year. So, there are other guys that are going to be coming in. And if you really need to get bigger for a game, maybe you play Morris Agusic or somebody like that in place of Honor Huff for a half, or not a half, but matchups. You're matching up, right? Whenever they're the guy that's giving Huff trouble on defense, whenever he goes out, you sub Huff in, right? And you play Agusic there for the time being when they're not if it becomes that big of a deal, you can play games, and of course coaches will try to match it. But what Honor Huff brings you as a 3-point sniper, the best in college basketball last year, is it's almost you can't replace it, because it's 3-pointers are the ultimate equalizer in basketball. It's the reason upsets in basketball happen so often, because teams you can go back and look across the ages, but some of those early Gonzaga teams, and even they were really Cinderella, or all the way up to even I don't really consider the FAU team a Cinderella now that we know what we knew about them, but Illinois, Chicago, that team that year had a bunch of 3-point snipers around them, right? If you've got a team built around the 3, like we have potential to do, we've got 3 or 4 guys that shoot it in the upper 30s and 40%. We've got 2 or 3 guys, I think, that do 40, and a couple other guys that do 35 to 38, 39. So, and then a couple other guys that can stretch it at 30, 32%. So almost everybody on the floor for us 2 deep can shoot it. That's why I think this team can be better than people realize. I'm not saying national championship or Big 12 championship. I'm saying they could be like last year, 19, maybe 20 wins. You slide in the tournament. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. I know it's football and everybody's watching football today. I had to get a video in. So I will see you guys on the next one. But before we do that, make sure you check out Locked On Big 12 with Drake Toll. He pretty much leads the conversation in Big 12 related talk, and there's a reason for that. It's because he's one of the best in the entirety of our business at it, and Drake is essentially one of the most charismatic and funny people I know. So, hey, John, good to see you, buddy. Make sure you check out Locked On Big 12 on Locked On Podcast Network or wherever you get YouTube or podcasts. Until then, I will see you guys later or tomorrow. This episode's over. Cue them country roads.